Move on to a topic that'll be on a lot of Australian viewers' minds as well, and that is the Federal Reserve choosing to raise interest rates again for the 9th consecutive time this week, despite the country facing all these issues around banks, which we've spoken around. You've written a really interesting piece in The Australian, and you ask the question I think is on a lot of people's mind. Do all of these bank chiefs in D.C., in Canberra, Martin Place, wherever, do they know what they're doing? Walk us through this, and what should viewers be taking home from, all of this behavior?
Well, look, I just think if you look at the forecast that they make, whether it was in 2021, of course, they got inflation completely wrong. They said it was transitory, and it's been over 5% in the US now for something like 21 months. So that was a very big error. And then when they started lifting rates in March last year, they said inflation right now would be 2%. Of course, it's still above 5%. And now, just this week, they lifted rates by a quarter point, and they say that next year it's going to be 2%. I mean, obviously, I don't think anyone believes that. Their forecasts are essentially next to useless. But the other thing too, they say on the one hand that the American banking system is resilient and sound, but then on the other hand, they've slowed down the pace of rate increases because they're worried about the impact on the banking system. So both things can't be true. And frankly, I think they're very embarrassed. I think they're starting to realise that their short-term interest rate is not as powerful over inflation as they thought it was. I mean, there's very little sign in the US or Australia, for that matter, that these higher interest rates yet are really seeing a substantial reduction in inflation. And yet it's causing a lot of pain, of course, for households and businesses with debt. So I think what we'll see in the next few years, that there's going to be a re-evaluation, if you like, of central banking theory. Maybe that's a bit nerdy for the show. I think that's what's going to happen.
No, we love a bit of nerdiness here.